Welcome to Connecting the Community podcast. I am your host, Marj. I will be connecting you to people, organizations, and events that create community. I am creating this podcast in Richmond Hill, an eclectic and very culturally diverse community with lots of trees and streams and interesting people, just up the hill from Toronto. I am welcoming to this podcast Hugh Adams, actually welcoming back to continue our conversation about the Lions Club with a focus on the Lions Club's vision programs. I have lots of questions. Welcome, Hugh.
Thank you, Marj. I'm excited to get into the second podcast.
Hugh, let's do a bit of review and tell us about how you are a charter member and hence longtime member of the Richvale Lions Club, and you have been involved just beyond that one local club. So tell us a little bit about your Lions Club involvement.
Yeah, I started as a single chap, okay, and after I then found the lady of my life around the corner in Richvale, and we got married, and we moved up to Aurora and Bradford, where we raised our family. And then we come back down because Mom was still here on Birch Avenue, and so we were commuting, looking after her because she was 80 at that time. So we come back into town around 2000. I rejoined the Richvale Lions Club, so that's about 23 continuous service, and I've done every position in the club and then some. I was president for multiple years, I think about 6 or 7 years over that tenure. So 5 years ago, I was approached by the district governor looking for some team members on their administration team, and I was talked into to convinced because they approached me a number of times, but finally, and so I joined as his own chair, helping the district governor and meeting up with clubs and helping them out with their fundraising and their training and dinners and go around to annual meetings. And that grew after 3 years. And then I become a regional chair, helping. And each year there's a different governor. Okay, so it wasn't boring. It was a lot of fun. So I did that for last year. I stepped down last year. Regional chairperson is the stepping stone off if you want to go for district governor. And I was not interested in doing a 5-year tour to get through that. So so
very good. There is a very extensive sort of org chart for the Lions Club International. There are how many thousands, millions of members are there?
Right now, globally, it's about 1.4 million.
Wow.
Okay. We've set another 1.5 million for 2 years ahead of time. So we, like all service clubs and or volunteer organizations, new members have been stagnant. Okay. So so now we've made it a goal for a 2 or 3 year goal. We have a Canadian international president, Patty Hill, who's a psychologist from Edmonton. She's a Western girl. And we're all proud that we've got a Canadian again heading up. I think she's about the 6th person to be international president. So we've been there a long time. Yeah.
Impressive with that. But there are so many good people that you have met along the way. You've told me about that. And I think that is absolutely fantastic. And I hope that continues. Now, Lions Club has met a number of priorities. One I want to talk about today is vision care. And it's I think a significant focus for Lions Club International. And you have told me that Helen Keller had a role. So can you tell us a little more about that sort of history?
Yeah, that is huge. That is a great success story. It all started back in 1925. Helen Keller was invited to be the guest speaker at the International Convention in Cedar Point. She challenged the Lions Club to be her Knights of the Blind in her crusade against darkness. And of course, we took up that challenge, and that is now the anniversary is coming up a year and a half away from that. So yeah, so we just carried on, and of course, collection eyeglass collection is one of the many areas in vision that we have that all local clubs are usually involved,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, District Min it has 55 clubs, and we have a chair that is a depot for all our collection within our district. And so his goal was to have 500,000 eyeglasses collected, and the completion date was the anniversary of Helen Keller's uh, challenge to the Lions. And so right now, we're less than 100,000 glasses away from achieving that. And last year we collected 75,000 pair of glasses. That's a rebound out of COVID because the COVID years were somewhat down. We're probably going to hit our goal on that before the anniversary. I think it's July in 2025 is the goal date. So it looks like
Whoa.
that's going to happen.
Okay.
Our club contributes 2 to 3,000 pair every year. We
Wow.
have yeah. So,
Yeah, no, you're active with it. Just last week, I finally gave you my old pair of prescription glasses. I see you, other people giving them to you. There's these boxes that have, you can put you in your slots that I've seen at different places, at churches, at optometrists. So you do look after and go around and empty them regularly. Is that correct?
yeah, that's right. And of course, there's more opportunities for us to go out in the community
Mm-hmm.
and do that. So if I find somebody looking for, I will make sure they have a collection box. We hope to increase our membership so we can have the income. But there's another 25, 15 stores or stores, I guess, like locations that we can get to. So
Yeah, definitely.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I will put in the podcast notes how to get in touch with you. So if
Mhm.
someone, yeah, I know a place that makes sense to be collecting eyeglasses, or if for some reason you have a whole pile of eyeglasses, just contact you and you'll make it happen. Because
Yeah.
tell us what happens. So you get all these eyeglasses, then what happens to
Yeah.
them?
Okay, we collect them and we deliver them over to our district depot. What they do then is collect them all up and bale them up, and they ship them to Calgary, Alberta. And we have a group of special line catalog all the glasses and the calibration of all of them and repairs and everything. So then they then put them back into A1 shape because some are broken, some but they repair them all. Uh, and then when they're finished, they send them over to Australia. And Australia is the depot or the distribution center for the globe. The World Health Organization now will instruct them every year or periodically where they need to put the glasses. And right now, there's about 87 countries around the world, second, third world countries, and that's where they get delivered. I have seen the report, and I can actually tell you what country and what how many, but I don't have that number straight on my top of my head.
Okay.
But yeah, so and that's the cycle. And of course, every pair of glasses is fitted to a person free of charge,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where the local Lions will probably organize the distribution. Then the doctors come in and do all the eye checking, and then they match them up. And of course, it's life changing for people either to be employed or read, or I mean, it has significance. Okay, and that's uh, all free for the recipient. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Wow.
so
That's amazing. Such good news. Like I have worn prescription glasses basically my whole life, and the idea I can't imagine my life without them. So I think this is great. And rather than sitting in your bottom drawer wasted after you get a new pair, yeah, let's make this a priority that we do this. So I'm glad
yeah.
there's this extensive organization that I saw that in Nepal, the Lions Club supports the training of ophthalmologists. Like, can you tell me more about that sort of work that gets done?
Yeah. Yeah, that comes through our Lions Foundation, okay, and they have grants for anything and along that line. A local Lions Club can make application to the grant, and as you see in Nepal, they had the training of the ophthalmologist, uh, but they'll take any grant, and the local Lions Club is part of that, and the continuity and the advertising that Lions are doing this, and they have. Surgeons that go around do surgeries and whatnot. And Doctors Without Borders, I think sometimes they're retained to go in and do some of these projects. Uh, yeah, so yeah, and that's all. That's our foundation. It was started in 1985 or 86. Site First program started off with $300,000 kitty for the site projects, and that is administered by our foundation.
Quite
It's
impressive what you do there. But you also have very local eye care programs as well. There's a school vision testing program that I've heard you're involved with. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
yeah. Our club has been doing this for the last 30 years that I know of. Okay, we go into the elementary schools and senior Ks, we do the vision screening. It's not health, it's screening for. So we do the one standard wall chart, and then we have the stereotype glasses for depth of perception, uh, and a portable refractor machine, and it's very digital, so it's operational once you get to know the program on the digital machine. It takes about 2 seconds to snap that, and we take the results and report the results to the students and their family. And sometimes we share information with the teacher. Or a lot of times, the teacher will see a student, and they'll come up before and say, "This person here, could you share their information?" So we usually share that because the teacher sees something and she suspects it, and so of course uh, then they send a report to their parents, and if they're referred to a ophthalmologist or whatever, then that's up to them because it's all free because the OHIP covers that uh, vision test or their fee for that their services. So it's yeah, so it's a great thing. We've had people that have had nearly blind, or or my daughter, myself, she had patches on, and when she was a youngster, she used to walk funny, and then sure enough, we got that was not through our doctor or pediatrician, but then we found out that so they corrected her eyes, so we had personal knowledge of that. So,
Yeah.
but we do
Ooh,
run into that. Yeah.
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 Very interesting. You also help out the Richvale Lions Club also helps out a local group, VIP, visually impaired people. I know you're doing that pre-pandemic. Has that continued?
Yeah, we've been doing that for 30 years.
Mm.
We provide a meeting spot for the vision impaired persons. It's a regional group, York Region research group or resource group, and we have they do meet now at Lions. And Miriam is a delightful lady. She's the coordinator of that, and Miriam and how marvelous a person she is with their group. And yeah, we're really proud of that. So. And of course, our lioness used to help serve their luncheons for Christmas dinner luncheons. Oh no, every meeting has a luncheon, and our lioness used to cater it. They disbanded about 3 years ago. I guess COVID just and so some of the girls go back to volunteer. I'm usually there was on a visitation with them
Mm.
at that time. So yeah, so that is yeah, even before I got back with the club.
Very
Uh,
good.
yeah,
Yeah, no, it's I've been, I think you invited me to one of the meetings in Miriam, and such a positive atmosphere there. People that
yeah,
were visually impaired, they often had caregivers, sometimes yes, sometimes no, but it was just like, yeah, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna enjoy ourselves. And yep. So I love to see that. I'm glad that you are part of that. What something I find really interesting is that you have an association with the Richmond Hill's famous landmark, the David Dunlap Observatory. We could think of the observatory telescope as a really big, powerful pair of eyeglasses.
I never thought of it as being a big eyeglasses, but yeah, every Lions Club has a club pin. Okay, when you start off, okay, and we looked around in Richvale, and we're in between two Thornhill and Richmond Hill. We were really just a blip as you go by, or service station or whatever. But we were fortunate enough to recognize that the Dunlap Observatory was there. Okay, and at the time in '63 it had just become the fourth largest observatory in the world. It was in third, but Argentina beat us out with a larger scope. So on our pin we got Canada's Big Eye, and that's our motto on our pin. We've done various renditions of the observatory, but the observatory is there and still the core behind a lot of our pins that we do or
Okay.
have done over the years. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I'll put a link in our podcast notes to the David Dunlap Observatory, because if you haven't been there, you should. And think of the big telescope
Yeah.
as this powerful pair of eyeglasses. So, is there anything else that you wanted to add, Hugh? Yeah, such as welcoming new people to the club.
Yeah, we are having our vision screening coming up, but we're planning for February. So we're gone through all the school boards are allowing people in, and COVID seems to wane enough that they've welcomed us back to do what we've been doing for 25, 30 years again, a long-term bit. And yeah, so we are looking for new members, and primarily to help us with the children. So it's in there with the schools with the children, and the senior Ks are the only ones that we do. The junior Ks wiggle too much, so we've honed right on the senior Ks, and again, it's the wall chart, the stereo glasses for depth, and then the digital refractor. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and we have, like, I'm glad you asked, because our sweet spot, as we see it for new members, are uh, people are approaching retirement and have always thought that someday they're going to do some volunteer work, or they are now doing proper planning for their life, and they're looking for doing something after retirement, because if you don't, you need something to do. And then, of course, the ones who have retired, we find that after all their busyness with their raising their family and all the sports activities, that they can't sit in their couch at home. They get this feeling, what's wrong? Well, you do 20 years of hard labor running kids around, and then you go sit on your couch. And yeah, so they're really primed, because they're got time to do another vocation. I mean, they got another 20 years or so. So they got to do something. And I think the younger folks, it's rare to get their interest. Okay, we do have a young man in their mid-20s or late 20s in our club. So we do have a cross section of ages. We do have the retirees, plus we have some business people. But that's what we're looking for, and I think I can probably help you out if you want to.
Yes, I will put your contact information. I encourage you to reach out to you, Hugh. Like, do you have
Yeah.
regular meetings? Are they in person? Do you do them on Zoom, or how do you operate that way?
Okay. Yeah, we were hybrid last
Mhm.
year. Okay, and we're totally Zoom before that.
Mhm.
But this year, the club decided, no, let's get back to in person.
Yeah,
Okay, so now we're back in person twice a month.
twice a month. Okay.
Okay, yeah, yeah, and dues is about $100 a year. So
It's
it's
easy.
not a, breaking the bank type of thing. It's
Hmm.
just some junk change hanging around in your pocket. And
It allows you to proudly say that you are a Lions Club member. So, yeah, so a long organization. That is really quite good. I hope you get an uptake for new people to join you to participate in this vision screening that's happening in the schools. And also just, I hope people go to the website and see the immense amount of work that you're doing. We focused
yeah,
today on talking about vision care, but it could have been diabetes care. There's a whole bunch of other focus.
yeah, we have 5 pillar services. Okay.
Okay.
It's environment,
Yeah.
childcare, and cancer, vision, hunger, and diabetes. So with whole spectrum,
Yeah.
that's globally pillars. But each club are servicing their locals. So a person can come if they got a passion or something they want to do, bring it forward to the club, and they'll adopt it. And then you can have your your interest being part of the Lions operation. So
Hmm.
that's we're there to service our local community,
Very good. Yeah.
and that's how a new person can impact uh, our activities, which we
Okay.
welcome.
You're welcome. Okay. Very good. Okay. Well, thank you, Hugh, for taking the time to do this podcast. And I do end each podcast with the same question. Can you name just one thing that you really like about this community?
I'm amazed at seeing how it has developed over the last 60 years from chicken coops and outhouses to a downtown environment, uptown.
Hmm.
And we have some great structures. Uh, we got great athletes from Richmond Hill and all.
Hmm.
We've got hockey players and all kinds of athletes, and of course the track and field people were going crazy. I think
Hmm.
this round at the Pan Am Games. So, but yeah, it's just a great community to live in. Everything's convenient, and yeah, it's you can get used to the traffic.
Okay. Good comment. So thank you, Hugh. I like your answer. You've got a different perspective, having lived here for so long. So thank you. Thanks again. And we will definitely see you around in the community soon. So we'll talk soon.
Thank you very much, Marge.
Thank you for listening. I would very much appreciate you sharing this podcast. Please tune in next week as we continue to explore the community. Consider emailing me at Marj, M-A-R-J, at marjandre.com. I welcome suggestions for podcast guests. Stay well, stay connected.